I'm a baseball fan, so I've got a chance to get down to the ballpark a couple of times over the course of the summer. But it's exciting. It's getting to the exciting part of the year, and so we've got our Jays hats on for sure.
Plenty of questions to get into with your hockey club, but I just wanted to ask you a general question right now, Brad, in terms of, your general manager duties throughout the summer. There must be 85-90% teams right now that aren't overly pleased completely with their hockey club in terms of the visions that they have moving forward. I would put you included, and yet it was such a quiet summer of the lack of trades, or even what I think maybe the lack of communication between teams to move bodies. And do you have a reason for that? Is it a new CBA? Is the cap going up? Or is it just teams not willing to pull the trigger just yet? Like, was it as quiet as I think it was?
Yeah, it was, Nick. It was, in terms of just the movement. I think there's always communication. There's always lots of activity, not necessarily lots of achievement. And the reason why is a couple theories. I don't necessarily think it has anything to do with the CBA, other than you had, number one, financially, you had a cap that increased significantly for the first time in a long time. So there wasn't, in most cases, there wasn't any real financial pressure, right? Where we've seen in the past where a team has either got financial pressure here with contracts that are due now, or where they see a year from now where they've got to get ahead of it, and make some room. Nobody was looking to throw, there wasn't somebody standing there and saying, I've got to throw two bodies over the over the boat here just to get under the cap. So that was number one, and I think we were also in an environment where I think everybody's trying to take a step. People weren't trying to get rid of players; they were looking for players, and teams that are feel that they're in contention status are always looking to get better. Those teams that were, coming through rebuilds or developing teams, they're also looking to take a step. So there just wasn't, up until now, to this stage, there hasn't been an availability of players. You're seeing more and more teams with the increase in cap space now, teams signing their own guys. So there wasn't, even going back to free agency, there wasn't a lot of, there wasn't a whole lot of movement. So I think for that reason, you saw, not as much activity on the trade front. But though, then you get into this time of the year, and everybody's trying to get a little sense of what they've got in house, and see who's, everybody. And you're right, you're always worried about a spot or so on your team, and so those conversations begin to pick up now, and you go from there.
So, Tree, one thing that you've referenced in some pressers and even are sort of alluding to here is, you had wanted to add maybe another top six forward to play perhaps alongside Matthews and Nyes. What do you see, like, when playoffs start, that right wing position, what is the path to getting that solved, to finding the answer you want alongside Austin Matthews?
Well, I think step one right now is seeing, I know everybody's focused on that one spot, and I get it, and certainly we are, but you don't know where chemistry is going to come from, right? You don't know where, who may have a match. You can sit here and put it down on a piece of paper, but everybody will have an opinion on it. But till you get out on the ice and you see who fits with who, and some of it too is sort of the job description, right? We all know what the prototypical top six forward looks like in terms of creating offense and those types of things, but sometimes it needs a little bit of a different ingredient, whether it's defensive player, somebody that can get in on a forecheck and create create loose pucks, create space, all those types of things. So I think for us, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves and looking at the playoffs. We're looking at, and it sounds like a motherhood statement, but we're just kind of looking at tomorrow, right? Like that we got to go through camp here and see if there's chemistry with different guys that we have right now. And so that's the process, right? You practice, you talk. Chief and I'll talk every day. We talk with our staff in here of different ideas. You're looking internally, you look externally. It's easy to say, let's go get a top six forward. Well, who is that? What is the cost? So that's really where we're focused at, Justin, is okay, we've got our group in camp, we're 6 days in or whatever we are. Is there a fit? We've seen Michelli up there. Right now they've had one preseason game under their belts. Max is just now back joining the group. He was working through an injury the first few days. So, and maybe there's some other, maybe there's something else internally. So we're going to continue to look internally, while also continue to look outside and see is there an availability for somebody that can come in and help us.
You're watching and listening to the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Brad Treliving. Tree, in our heyday, man, you had a lot of tomorrows in training camp, 2-a-days, 10, 12 exhibition games, plenty of time to kind of sort things out. That's not the case anymore, and I'm just wondering, with such a compressed schedule now for exhibition games and knowing that we're a little over a week to game one, how much pressure does that put on someone like Easton Cowan, who's trying to crack the opening lineup, to Michelli to show chemistry, to some of the other guys who are challenging as well?
Yeah, I think, Nick, you're right. The camps are different now. You go through them pretty quick. I think there's different stages of camp. Like, the first 3 days are really sort of a grind. The grind 3 days is getting all the summer skate off and getting back to bumping a little bit, and then you get into the next phase, which is, from the coach's perspective, a little bit more system play, probably a little bit more teaching, and now you start. There's competition within camp, right? We've got a lot of, specifically talking up front, we've got a lot of players here, so there's competition in where, like you said, where you can find chemistry, where you fit. As far as a young player, I think it's really important for them just to keep the picture small, right? Like you start, I know everybody, and you guys do a great job of projecting stuff and opening day rosters and where's everybody going to fit and how do you make a team? Well, how do you make a team is you just stack a good day on top of a good day. So for a guy like Easton, his focus has got to be small. It's just getting ready and having because for those guys, the window is small, right? The window is short. I always tell young players, don't dip your toe in, because you're going to